What's up, everybody? It's me, Erica, and we are down here to talk about Married to Medicine. But it's going to take a second for me to get to where I need to park. And that horse's leg was looking broke. Why was his leg looking like that? And look at the peacocks. I wish I could stop so y'all could see the peacocks in this person's yard. It's 3 of them in this person's yard right here. You can't see them. Coffee in the morning. Let me fix this microphone. Anyway, so what are you guys down here? Did you guys like the episode? I almost didn't review it. Married to Medicine, because it was like, the episode was like okay, but I was just like, it was like I don't know, was it a filler episode? They did the little crystal thing, which was kind of disappointing for me, because I was just like, at least be more open to learn. That's what you're here for. But I guess they said all of that. They were gracious while they were there, but in their interviews, they say they don't really care about that kind of stuff. You know, they're doctors, you know, they don't care about stuff. But it's so funny that LaToya was like, diamonds, diamonds make me happy. Okay, well, do you know what the significance of a diamond is? Do you know what the properties it holds? You're just wearing these. And it's all about the intention that you put into the crystal anyway. It's really all about the intentions. It does let you know what property it holds and what it would be good to use for. What they should have had stones that clear your throat chakra to ensure that when you guys are around each other, that when you are speaking, there is little to no conflict and more understanding. Come on, girl. You know what I'm saying? That, and I don't know how the whole party went. I felt like, what's her name, was nervous. I didn't feel like she was in her element. And maybe, when you are amongst doctors and, they're like science, you know what I'm saying? So she may have felt a little nervous, but I like that they had the little cards going around. Lisa Nicole talking about, that's me. That's so funny. It's so funny. Girl, I think Lisa Nicole is so whack to me. Like, she's right over there in the whack, behind the whack velvet rope with Drew and them. Like, y'all really, like, whack, like Sheree, y'all whack, just whack, like, just some whack ass chicks, just whack. That's how I feel, like, whack, like, y'all whack. Like, ugh. I thought that was it was unfortunate that they weren't more open to the crystals, because and it's, at the end of the day, if there's no significance to you, then it doesn't matter, does it? Just like when you wear a ring, just like when you wear a crucifix. It does, for me, that don't mean nothing to me. But for you, that crucifix holds special meaning, right? And it carries special properties. And some of you may think that the cross that you wear is a protection. Like, stuff, it's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. So, anyways, it was a little unfortunate, but that's my bag. So for them not to be open to that was like, oh. And then shout out to Funky Doniva. Funky Doniva was on Married to Medicine again, and in the car, him and Heavenly were talking about Quad not being there, and he wishes that Quad was there, so they could have all gone out. And then I do remember when Quad went off on Heavenly about that picture, and it was like, girl, why did you react like that? I thought that was your home girl. Why would you think that she was being shady, unless you think that that's where she comes from? I'm trying to think, have I ever been like, when you could just feel the emoji isn't what they say that the intentions were. I didn't get it, but maybe they were not in a great space and she received it like that. Clearly she received it like that. But I don't like when Heavenly does that. She doesn't have a husband. She doesn't have any kids to love her and this and that. She had a husband who didn't love her. So what was she supposed to just stay with the husband? I thought she was looking good for being single and stuff. And now her being single, there's a problem with it. Like, I like Heavenly until she dives. She dives into the 1950s. The screen turns black and white. The bitch puts on an apron and has a Virginia Slim in her mouth. And she gets so male identified and misogynistic. That's when she loses me. That's when Heavenly loses me. I'm like, you my girl until you start talking that shit. Girl, jump out of Leave It to Beaver, please. I thought it was so funny when Heavenly was on the phone with Alora and Alora hung up on her ass. Why are you asking me that personal question? And I know you got cameras going in your car. I know you're filming. Goodbye. That's not your business, honey. And it's not the world's business, the television's business, okay? Al Sharpton calls Heavenly because he wants Damon to do the COVID mobile testing. The 57th anniversary of the March on Washington. I hollered when Heavenly said it was the 57th annual. I know she misspoke, but I thought it was funny. I was like, they not doing a March on Washington every year. She said it was the 57th annual March on Washington. See, I be noticing stuff like that. Did anybody else notice that? I was like, girl, okay, anyway. That's just the Virgo. Okay. So Contessa is in her kitchen. She's stressing out. Honey, I don't know what it's like to do a remodeling or a renovation, but we've heard the stories and seen the stories about how contractors act and how long it takes them to do stuff. And if the person who has the money, they working on a house quicker than they working on your house, even though you got the money too. Contessa's kitchen looks a mess, but I'm sure it'll look nice when she's done. She's pouring wine for her and her niece-in-law, and it was funny. She poured it all the way to the top. Like, girl, I need this. When I saw it the first time, because I watched it twice, and when I saw it the first time, I thought she had taken the damn bottle to the head. I was like, girl, I get it. Contessa looked so pretty in that. I think Contessa is pretty to me. I don't know, it's everything about Contessa I find pretty, except for she has the most funkiest, dustiest attitude. When she was at that damn crystal party, we gonna get to it. I was like, bitch, you ain't shit. But you pretty, girl. But you pretty, and you smart, and you ambitious, but you ain't shit. You ain't shit. She looked really pretty. So she holds the rose quartz in her hand, and she says she wants to know where the money is, and she wants to know if Scott has a side chick. You ain't got to say nothing else. If you said that out your mouth, you believe that. There's no way that a woman who was not sure that something might be going on or had a feeling or an inclination for that to come out of her mouth and then say, you don't know what you don't know. That's what I do know. And she's right. The women who holler, my man will never be the man doing it whenever, okay? He be the main one. The main one. Okay, so you really never know, and you can never, just like with on Real Housewives of New Jersey, when they were talking about Evan, and Joe was like, I'm 99% sure that he's faithful. You don't know, because you don't know people. And one thing that I think a lot of people do, this don't have nothing to do with nothing, but what I think a lot of people do when you're friendly with someone or you feel like you know a person's character, you want to vouch for them and speak to their character, but you can't speak to someone's character when they're not with you, because you just can't. Look at Candy and T.I. and Tiny. She says they're great, upstanding people, but I wouldn't speak to their character, because, bitch, you don't know what they doing when they going from state to state to state. This don't have nothing to do with them, but I'm just saying, okay? So you just never know. Anyways, so they talked about how it's just separate groups, and that's what I don't like. I don't feel that necessarily it's separate groups. I don't feel like it's so divided. Especially that Simone and Toya are cool, even though... Remember when Simone tell her, with your raggedy broke ass? Baby, So she asked her niece, would she be willing to do a healing session with her friends, because it's very much like high school. And they show clips. And the way that they were talking to each other, I always say, and based on my reading and studies, is that we girls don't relate to each other any different than women. We grow into women who relate the same way as we related on the playground. When you're in a friend group of women, everybody has their archetype that they take on, and it just plays out. And it just is elementary school over and over and over again throughout life, high school, throughout life. It's those dynamics that just keep repeating itself. You could see it when she was like, check me on Instagram. Toya, what? You are a grown-ass woman yelling at another grown-ass medical professional talking about, I can see you following me on Instagram so you could do some more shit that I do. I was like, that sounds like two little girls arguing, like two teenagers. Like, bitch, you trying to copy me? You had on the whoop wop and I had him on too. That's what it sounded like. It did. Anyways, Dr. Simone. Baby, I was giggling when Cecil was down in that basement doing testing. Talking about, I gotta taste. I gotta taste this. I'm gonna taste it. So he's like, when you the bartender, you gotta see how stuff tastes. I know that's right. He don't have nothing else to do. They empty nesters. He was like, I don't know what to do. That's why I'm down here basically getting drunk. I don't know what else. Baby, I was so tickled by that scene because he was really in there talking to himself. I mean, not talk. He has a cameraman, and that's who they really be talking to, and they don't be talking to themselves. Because I would be talking to the cameraman, but talking to myself. Like, I always think, like, if it's a cameraman, I can't help it. I'm talking to you. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna be sitting here. I talk to myself though, but I'm talking to you. If you sitting here in the room, I don't care if you do have on all black and a damn mask around your face. I'm talking to you, okay? Because you sitting here. You want some drink? You want some? So Miles is still at home. They're not really empty nesters, but he works full time. And so they sit down, Simone gets her a shot of water because she's still on the clock. So she coming home. And so he's sitting down and they say, what's going on with the ladies? What's happening? So he said, I could tell by the way you're talking about Jackie, your tone is off. And why are you taking that tone? Do you not believe her? And she says, no, I don't believe her. Okay. And he says, well, at Damon's house, it was real awkward that, the way she stood up. And it was awkward. But like to Cecil's point, if she would have jumped up and would have been like, hey, friend, you would have been like, girl, I'm out of here. And he's right. He is so right. So he said, I think a conversation needs to happen. What's the holdup? All the ladies are stubborn, they're talking about. And he was like, as much as I want you to give it a try, I do understand that people grow apart. I love the conversation that Cecil was having with Simone and that Curtis was having with Jackie. Child. Anyways, so they asked Simone why wasn't she optimistic, and she said because I'm a pessimist, and she just started laughing. I like Dr. Simone. She is stubborn. I think all of them are stubborn, but I really want to know because, see, my perspective was that Simone was always the one mending when things went wrong. And it seems that they really never had a huge conflict like this in their relationship. So I'm trying to figure out why one or the other is being stubborn in trying to fix it, if this wasn't like a pattern or something. You know what I'm saying? A pattern that you were trying to break. That's how I thought about it. Anyways, so Curtis and Jackie are having their conversation about the situation. He tells her what happened with basketball, and she was like, did you talk to Cecil and Simone? He was like, yeah, we had some conversation or whatever. And he said, so what's the holdup? She was like, we're taking baby steps. He was like, no, you need to take, what's the major step that you need to take? I think the conversation between Curtis and Jackie was also good. And he said, she's like, I have a lot going on. You could hear all the excuses that she was making. He was like, you always have a lot going on. So anyways, the husbands meet at Top Golf, and Shout out to Cecil for his pants. I love that. I was looking at Cecil. I was like, I like Cecil, even though he likes to get in the women's business. To me, I don't feel like he gets too far beside himself. Like, I feel like that Simone took that and made it more than what it is, because I feel like Cecil and Heavenly could go back and forth, and maybe because it can get disrespectful. Heavenly can definitely get disrespectful, and then if Cecil says something to Heavenly, Damon is going to go crazy. So, you know how he is about Buddy Child. So, that's, Heavenly's rationale. But I don't think that Cecil gets too far in the women's bid. I don't think none of them really do, except for Miss Eugene. Your husband is the definition of a big bitch, of a big ass bitch. How could y'all ever come back from that? That's why I think, like, LaToya and Contessa, I don't think they can. Is that LaToya? Is her name LaToya? I'm getting mixed up. Toya. I don't think they can ever come back from their mess. But I love Cecil's pants. Shout out to Cecil's pants. I love a good sport. I'm here for it. And they were like kind of high water. Anyways, Damon shows up with Zachary. Zachary is a cutie pie. Do you hear me? The way his hair is with his beard and stuff, he has like these bright eyes. Very handsome sons that Heavenly has. And Damon Jr. is 22. And then Miles shows up. He's also 22. I don't know why they weren't drinking. I mean, I can understand the 19-year-old not drinking for the camera's sake. It is illegal, whatever. But 21 is the age. And so I didn't understand why the other boys didn't drink. Maybe, I used to hear people say, I don't drink in front of my parents out of respect. What's disrespectful about drinking? How's drinking disrespectful? I don't get it. Anyway, that's so fucking stupid. Anyways, Eugene, he is trying to get the boys to drink. I'm with Eugene. I'm like, why aren't y'all having a drink? You 22. And then Miles talking about, I need adult supervision. Eugene's like, nigga, you an adult. So what are you talking about? They're not. They're really not. We need to stop that. That's an age that they have classified as an adult, but in the brain, it's not adult, and it's not an adult brain, and we keep saying it until 25. I don't even think, when people say, I have a thing about the military, I don't think you should go into the military at 18, but they need you to be, I guess, at your peak fitness level, and that's when you're young, but your brain is not at the peak fitness level at 18. It's compulsion and impulsive, and it's not a good mix to have. Anyways, that don't have nothing to do with it. But I'm with Eugene. Like, have a drink, relax, come on. You supposed to be hanging out with the men. Have a drink. I mean, if you don't drink, then that's fine. All right, so cheers to the sons hanging out with the dads. I thought that was nice that Damon, we're seeing more of Damon's personality. He's actually talking more. We see Dr. Karian, what's his name? Karian, Anila's husband, he was there too. And he was laughing and giggling and stuff like that. Curtis can't swing. Talking all that shit. You was talking all that shit and you can't. So what you be doing? He didn't even have a good follow through. So what you be doing when you say you going to play golf? See, I don't trust that tall nigga as far as I can throw him. So, anyway, they said they're going to have to get a PJ for the trip, and they're going to have to rent a nice house. So, they were talking about it's going to be some mess regardless. We know all those people in the same house. It's going to be some mess. I didn't like that Curtis asked, were the wives coming? And Scott hollers, exactly. Y'all, I don't like that. And then that it immediately made me think like, oh, I'm so glad for these young men to be around these grown men. But then you got niggas like Curtis and Scott around them performing masculinity, and in that being disrespectful and objectifying, and just, why would you ask, are our wives coming? Like, you're not the person to ask that question. And Scott being the peanut gallery with that side chick comment at the beginning is just setting the scene up, baby. Anyways, be mindful who your sons are around. Every man is not good for your sons to be around, okay? They all poke the bear. The dog, the monkey, the bear, they poke everything. So then Damon asked the boys about BLM. They talk about what the next generation is going to do. And I love that Miles was talking about politicians and the politics side of it. Basically, if somebody's not doing what they're supposed to do, vote them out. I love it. So then they get to Contessa's celestial celebration. Heavenly and Funky Diva was there. We already talked about that. Contessa's dress was really, really pretty. Simone walks in. Jackie was looking crazy. That was so funny the way they kept going. The way they kept going back to Jackie. And she was just looking. Because you know how it is. And Jackie said it so perfectly. It's like seeing an ex-boyfriend and you like, I don't know, like, I don't even want to look over there, because if I look over there, then I'm going to have to acknowledge you, and then if I acknowledge you, then I'm going to have to either raise an eyebrow or give you an eye motion or wave my hand, and we're not in a good place. So it was an awkward wave. Someone was like, I'm not sitting over there. Toya was late with her big mouth. She came in hollering. That was so funny to me. That was so funny to me, because they were just about to get into their little session. Heavenly was up there going like this, and here comes LaToya. It's like this bit. And then it's so passive aggressive to come to a healing ceremony or a celebration of healing and bring people who are uninvited. That's what I be saying. Toya, she be talking about Heavenly's a bully and these people are bullies, but you be participating in the bullshit, and you thought it was funny all sitting up on your steering wheel like this. You thought it was funny to bring Carrie and Lisa Nicole. And I didn't like the way Lisa Nicole was talking about, not Lisa Nicole, what's the bitch in the back? Carrie. I didn't like the way she was talking about Quad, talking about she thinks she Cardi B or Megan Thee Stallion. Bitch, you jealous? You jealous of her ass? That she got ass and you don't? Because I didn't like it. Now, we could talk about Quad all day. We can. But you in the back? No. Absolutely not. That's the reason why you can't. Anyway, so I keep wanting to call the girl LaToya. Toya says, you know, if Contessa want to invite me, I'll give it a whirl. If she want to give it a whirl, I'll give it a whirl. She was looking so confused. So Contessa said, there's no surprise that she's late. I'll be shocked that she actually comes. She came in. Lisa Nicole was mad because I guess Darren be looking at all the girls with the big butts, and she was like, and they all got the same butts. It's a fat transfer. Darren be out there double tapping on all the butts, and you you jealous. But like Heavenly said, you can go get you one, girl. Go get you one. Did y'all hear about Hazel Lee? Child. Anyway, that's for another day. So they came in all loud. Baby, the way Heavenly was laughing at Carrie, she was like, look at her. I said, Heavenly, that fake ass laugh be getting me every time, because you know it ain't about, that laugh ain't about shit. It's about shit. Talking about, look at her. Why the fuck she bring these recycled bitches to this party? I know that's right. And it's so funny watching Heavenly, those old clips of Heavenly and her teeth, baby. She said this. What am I right to say? You got an over and underbite, an overbite and an underbite. Well, you should know, and what you have. What's her name was getting her with the technical words that day, and you should know because that's your mother. Baby, I love Married to Medicine, but this episode was boring. I'm trying to make the best of it. Anyways, so they were sharing the insight on the crystals and when you use them. We already talked about that. Toya was talking about diamonds can heal, and you know, but it's probably in your best interest to go look up what a diamond means. What is the significance of a diamond? But you know, we don't fuck with. That's why I was like, girl, you're not supposed to be fucking with diamonds in that way, because you don't know, unless you know they're conflict free. Then that's another story. But whatever, girl. Nobody cared about the crystal, so they wanted to go around and express forgiveness. Simone says, they all passive. They not speaking directly to nobody except for Heavenly spoke directly to Toya. Oh, and Anila spoke indirectly, but Heavenly acknowledged it. Simone said, anybody in this room, and blah, 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 whatever she said, right? And then Anila said, if I said, bitch, when they rolled the clip, and I never noticed that, Heavenly said, bitch, it's black. I said, come on. Bitch, it's black, okay? I don't know what the fuck you talking about. It's black over here asking for forgiveness. And so Heavenly said she forgave her. Contessa said, Contessa. I was like, Contessa, you are such a fucking, it's so, I want to like Contessa, but Contessa, I like Contessa, but then she be doing stuff like this. I would like to be forgiven for being dismissive because some things I just consider bullshit. Girl, that's dismissive. What you saying? Jackie said she was glad she's not taking a stand, and she said that she wants to apologize for being dismissive because she doesn't want to process things. So she basically is apologizing for being neutral, and too neutral to the point of it's not good for anybody. Simone says that it's safe for Jackie to speak in code because she doesn't want to hurt anyone's feelings. So why were you speaking in code? Anyways, so Heavenly said sorry to Toya. They said news break. Then they show Heavenly. Oh my God. The producers of this show they are so funny because they show every time Heavenly has been apologizing. Oh my God, it was so funny. Heavenly apologized. She said, and then in about 20 more minutes, you're going to be apologizing for some shit you said. It is true. And what else happened after that? Oh, and then Jackie and Simone, they had their little talk, and they were, Simone goes and meets Jackie at her office, and they start off asking, do you miss your baby? And it's bittersweet and this and that. And then that's when Jackie says, it's like seeing an old boyfriend. I don't want to look at you. I want to look at you, but I don't want to look, you know how it is. Cause then the funny part about that is you don't want to look because you don't want to smile because you really miss the person and you have feelings for the person. You still have love for them. And when you see them, you're supposed to be mad. And if you look at them, if you get eye contact with them, you're going to end up wanting to smile. But you being bad and stubborn, so you don't want to. I know what it is. So she was like, I miss my friend. She was like, I thought we had an unbreakable bond. And then you could see that as soon as Simone looked at Jackie, she just got emotional. All the tears just came up. So she was like, I need a tissue. And Jackie brought her that hard ass tissue that be in them doctor's office when you pull them out the thing to dry your hands. She was like, girl, you don't love me. She was like, this is not the surgical center. It's not a place for tissue. Okay, just worry about the shit is sterile. That's what you need to be worried about. Anyway, so she was like, what did I do? So I like the fact that, because some people would be like, you know what you did, it could have went the wrong way, but I'm glad that she was like, tell me what I did, so whatever. I felt like that was okay. I did like that approach. Usually I don't, because it's like, you should know what you did, but if the person legitimately doesn't understand, so that they can make sure that they don't repeat the behavior. So I think it is fair to be clear with the person what they did to you. Anyways, so she was like, the silence from you, with the breakdown with Heavenly, you didn't say anything. And usually you will say stuff to me, you'll take me to the side, but you didn't say nothing. And I'm not used to that. Usually you take me, and like friends are supposed to do, take you in private and let you know, bitch, you was dead ass wrong. But in public, I'm going to stand with you, right? I'm not gonna let anybody fuck with you in that way. But in private, I'm gonna be like, bitch, you was dead ass wrong. So she was like, but I've always corrected you privately. And she felt like the silence was meant that she was taking her side. And the Buffy thing, Jackie, I don't know about the Buffy thing. Like, I felt like, even though I cannot stand oatmeal pie face, I cannot stand oatmeal pie face sound like she talking in her. I cannot stand Buffy. But I didn't like the way you did. That was wrong to me. Like, the way that I apologize and it's over. Bitch, that ain't no apology. But she wanted her to defend her honor anyways. So she was like, I'm here because Heavenly pushed both of us to talk to each other. She was pushing me and she was pushing me. Heavenly does want them to get back together. Then they start talking about the breast cancer. That's when I started getting emotional. She was like, you was always there for me. I never said I was scared, but I was scared. But, you know, Simone was there for me. She made me laugh when I was feeling scared and this and that. And her support, that's irreplaceable. That type of friendship and that connection and that bond, you cannot replace a person like that. And so she told her that she appreciated her. She was like, yeah, you told me that you appreciated me, but sometimes you got to tell your friends that you love them, and you got to tell your friends that you miss them. You got to show up. I think it's so important. Anyways, so I love Dr. Jackie's little side hairstyle with her coat on, her lab coat thing on. What y'all call them, lab coats? I was like, yes, Dr. Walters. She had her hair to the side. It was cute. Anyways, she's like, I'll do my part. I love you and I miss you and we got to do better. And then I saw the next episode, and I don't like when Anila said anybody can be a dentist. Bitch, why you ain't a dentist then? I didn't like that. I don't like stuff like that. Okay, anyways, y'all, take care of each other. Let me know what y'all thought of the episode. Protect your energy, and let's get down in the comments. Okay, peace.